Welcome to the Love City Arts Podcast. I'm Andre in the Flow. I wanted to create a space where artists could come together and encourage all of humanity through the arts. So welcome to that space. Our next live event is November 19th in the West Village of New York City. For more information, to follow my journey and the journey of all of our artists, visit andreintheflow.com and lovecityarts.org. Please enjoy today's episode, and thanks for listening.
Wanderlust. Yes. Well, this is Andre in the Flow, and welcome everybody to the Love City podcast. If you're not familiar with Love City yet, you want to be. Love City is an encouragement platform dedicated to uplifting all of humanity through the arts. I am the founder and director, Andre in the Flow, and I'm here today with Jean Wanderlust. Did I say that right?
Nope, it's Jeannie Wanderlust.
Jeannie Wanderlust. Can you spell that for me?
JeannieWanderlust.
I love it. I love it. And for those of you who don't know, Jeannie or Jeanleshea is my cousin, and I'm happy to have her as my first guest on the podcast. We actually started talking about this late one night. It was almost pushing midnight, probably, right outside of Union Square Park. And I was like, wow, we have amazing conversations. Things always start popping when we're talking. And so why don't we try to bring these conversations to all of you? So here we are, giving this a go as the first podcast. It'll be a place where you can always find encouragement and uplifting material, uplifting conversations, and just hopefully something that resonates with all of you. So Jean, tell me something good. In the words of Shaka Khan, tell me something good. What's going on for you?
Tell me. Sorry, I was in my mode.
I love it.
What is going on? I am currently in the process of self-discovery and growth.
What does self-discovery look like for you? You said...
Yeah, self-discovery and growth. What does it look like? The best way I can describe self-discovery is a painting that has already been painted, but I feel like there needs more. Like I am the artist of my own canvas, and I feel like that piece is not really done. I see this, I see the trees, I see the stars, I see the moon, I see the light. But you know what? That light doesn't have all the glimmer that it needs to. Or maybe I need to add a little bit more trees over there. Maybe I need to add some ripples in the water. Because the water is cool, but it's not cool. And I feel like I'm an artist right now with my life, and I am creating or really mastering my masterpiece at this point. And as an artist, you always go back to what you were originally working on and saying, maybe I could have did something different. So that's where I'm at right now.
I love it. You're painting more sun rays and more crest on the water of your waves, and kind of making your beautiful canvas covered, as you said. When did you decide? When did you decide to become the artist of your own painting?
When did I decide? It took.
And the reason why I asked this question is because I've been recently thinking about a future blog post that will be coming out soon on my website. And shameless plug here, artistry.com is where I write and share pieces of my life. But I've been thinking a lot lately about that moment when you decide, that critical, pivotal moment where you go from kind of I think I want to be the artist of my own life. I think I want to build something new. I think I want to paint something new. And then there's that instant, the Course in Miracles calls it the holy instant, where you decide that you're going to pick up the paintbrush and start painting your sun rays and your moonbeams. Was there a particular moment where that happened for you?
Yeah, so there were a couple of times where I was just like, this can't all be it for me. But I would say the most pivotal point for me would be when I was faced with a near-death experience. Um, that's
Mm.
when it really dawned on me, like, this could all be over tomorrow. You know what I mean? This can all be done. And when it's all said and done, did I do the work for myself to thoroughly enjoy this place? Did I tell the people that
Mm.
I love them enough? Did I make myself happy in these moments? And as I sat there in a hospital bed reflecting, not knowing, honestly, and people will say, well, an appendicitis is not that much life threatening. It is. You know what I mean? When you really don't know your
Yeah, it can
fate.
it can
You know what I
literally
mean?
take you out. Hmm.
Yeah, when you don't know your fate, and when I say that, it's the truth. I really did not know my fate, and as I laid on that hospital bed, I found this out like a couple of weeks and after my surgery when I went to go see my doctor. He's like, yeah, so you were in surgery a lot longer than you needed to be because it exploded as we were it ruptured as we were taking it out. Anyway, nevertheless, it took that very moment as I laid in the hospital bed and weeks in recovery to really, Jeannie, what are you really doing with yourself? What are you doing with your life? You're so concerned about everybody else seeing for themselves. You are falling short somewhere in your own personal life. And you are settling for things that are not you, that, are not becoming to you, that are not of you. And that's when it really dawned on me. And I was just like, I looked around and I was just like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm
Yeah,
just
it's almost like
walking
the
in the,
lights came on.
yes, all the lights came on. And I said, I was just walking around
The
here.
lights in the living room, the lights in the bedroom, the lights in the kitchen, the lights in the basement, like everything just came
every
all the
light,
way on.
every light went ping, ping, ping. And I was like, girl. And then I started looking at people that I had around me because as I
Yeah.
stayed in that hospital bed, I was by myself. I had my mom who was 6 hours away, my stepmom who is all the way in Texas calling me. I had my siblings, calling me again who are states away. These are people that are states away. And then I had people that I was physically helping here, and they were nowhere to be found as I laid in that hospital bed.
Right. I know. I live in the city and I had no idea that was even happening to you. And so,
Happening, yeah,
you were yeah, I mean, you were alone. We understand now that no one is ever truly alone in
alone,
life. There
exactly.
are angels and heavenly angels always around us. Your nurses and your doctors and people that were taking care of you were your angels.
Mhm.
But I can only imagine what it must have felt like for you to not be accessible to people who could care for you.
You know, as I laid, there was a warming feeling, and I will never. I think me and you spoke about it before. I said I will
A,
not
a
ever
what kind of
forget that
ceiling?
moment. A warming feeling. It wasn't like
A
I
warming
needed
feeling.
to be scared. Like it was like a comfort, like everything is gonna be okay, and I wasn't alone. You know what I mean? Like there was no people like physically in there with me, but I wasn't alone. Do you get what I mean?
Wow. Um, wow. Yeah, you never shared this with me. Isn't it amazing to know that whatever you want to call it, a divine presence with a capital P, as I
Mhm.
say, a warm feeling can wash over you in those moments if you allow it. And so that's a credit to
Mhm.
you, that you in that moment chose to not go the fear route, but choose to just accept that, like, wow, there is sort of divine love available to me, and it's here. Um, One of my father's favorite songs, my father's no longer on the planet, as you know, but I'm just telling our
Mhm.
listeners, um, one of his favorite songs was a song by, I think it's Walter Hawkins. The song is called Never Alone. And if you get an opportunity to listen to it, I would highly recommend it. It's a Jesus song, but it just says, I don't have to worry, never alone. I don't have to be insecure
Mhm.
anymore. I'm never alone because Spirit walks beside us. And so, I mean, once you get that in your knower, and I'm talking like deeper than your understanding, but like in your, my college professor would say, in your knower, like that you know that you know that you know, that we're not, alone on this journey. Once you get it that deep in your knower, you'll understand that, yeah, there was something in that room with you, and you felt it, and how awesome it is that you can carry that into your everyday life beyond the hospital bed. So
And
tell me this:
I
how do
love.
you see?
Mhm.
No,
What were you saying?
I was going to say, how do you see that same warming feeling showing up for you, say today or yesterday or this week?
So I would say there are times I am in self-doubt. I could say this week
You're not
I
alone
made
there.
the most. Definitely not alone there. I made a step on achieving one of my life goals, and with encouragement from you, and a little foot on neck action. I
Well, I told her earlier in the week we were so blessed by a couple of Nick City dancers that I currently live with to go and sit in the box suite, if you will, at Madison Square Garden for my first, and I believe your first as well, NBA basketball
mhm.
game. And that was an incredible opportunity. And on the way back to the train, Jean says to me, yeah, you've been giving me a little, your foot's been kind of on my neck, kind of like on like a part of my neck. I was like, my foot's not on a part of your neck. My foot's on the whole neck. I want to, I want to inspire you to just go out here and reach your dreams. So because my Nike, and we're not endorsed by Nike here, but because my Nike was on that neck, um, what happened for you?
I took that step without fear, without self-doubt, without worry. Normally I would be like, let me read and examine because I don't know what I'm doing. Um, Spirit, as we're going to say, definitely
Mm.
guided me on this journey and was just like, I met this journey a little different this time. You know what I mean? Because there's been plenty of
Mm.
different projects that I've worked on and was like in fear of launching it because it's gonna fail and it's not gonna work out. Oh my God! But Spirit
Mm.
was just like, go ahead, girl, go ahead and sign that up. Do what you need to do, and let the dust fall where they might. But dust does not fall; it rises. So,
Mm. Say the word. Say the word. Yeah,
so
dust is shaking up. Dust is shaking up. Dust is created when we
yeah,
start making moves. As Cardi B says,
exactly.
those money moves. Yes.
Money moves. Yes. So that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
happened where I was walking in that moment and um I didn't feel alone. And I honestly don't feel alone anymore as much as I used before these life changing experience happened. Um Before, that life changing moment happened, I used to feel alone all the time. And people used to be like, oh my God. But now, you know, I'm at a place where I don't feel alone. And people be like, well, how can you just cut people off so quick? I'm like, if you're not serving me, And I don't mean to be in service of me. You get what I'm saying? But if you're not
I get it.
speaking life into me, and you're, not for you, but, I'll be like, oh, what you mean? You feel like you are made. It's not that. It's if you're not speaking life into me and I'm not speaking life into you, we are depleting each other. We don't need to be in the space with each other. So I will gladly set you free. And it's not off of I'm not keeping you around for loneliness, because I'm not lonely. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to keep you around for boredom. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just say, when you're operating from that place where you're not feeling alone or not feeling lonely, it changes everything. It changes your self-esteem. It changes the way in which you view the world. It changes the relationships that you attract. It changes, the whole game flips when you can just show up at your workplace, or show up in your relationship, show up in your marriage, show up in your school, show up in anything you do, saying, you know what, I'm enough, and I deserve the best of life, and I deserve love. As Brene Brown would say, one of my favorite authors, I deserve that feeling of love and belonging. And because I know that is my birthright and that's what I deserve, I'm just going to choose to stand in it. And then you find people will start to fall away, because I know there was, recently a time in my life where a bunch of my relationships were predicated upon the idea that, the person wanted to feel needed. And I was doing the work to try to not be so needy. I was reading books on codependence and thinking about going to a 12-step program for Codependence Anonymous and all those things. And then I just, through my practice, I came to the understanding that, just like you, I'm not alone, so I don't need to behave in ways that a lonely person would behave. And I echo what you're saying. People were just kind of like, what do you mean you don't need me? Or, after all I've done for you, you're just going to let me go? And I'm just like, it's not that I'm prideful or I feel like I don't need people. Actually, other people, and exchanging in the ways we are tonight, really fuels me. I love people. I'm building a whole platform based around engagement with people and encouraging people. That's not to say that I like everybody all the time, but people, people fuel me in ways that I can't even explain. But yet, there's a difference between relating to someone from a place of encouragement than of a place of kind of that what are you going to do for me place.
Yes, and in life, it gets crazy because you have to filter out those certain things. And if you don't catch it, quick enough, you'll find yourself very upset and hurt because people aren't treating you the way you feel like you should be treated. And then you gotta kind of, well, why am I always getting the bad end of the stick with this person? And it takes time for, again, we go back to self-reflection. And
self-reflection, and a whole lot of intuition. Can we pause right here? Part 1. Can I have you come back for part 2?
Sure.
Okay, so when we come back in part 2, we're going to talk about self-reflection and intuition and what that means to you. Sounds good?
Sounds perfect to me.
All right. Stay tuned with us, everybody. We're going to come back sometime soon with part 2, where Jean and I are going to talk intuition.
Thank you for listening to the Love City Arts podcast today. For more information, to follow my journey and the journey of all of our artists, visit andreandtheflow.com and lovecityarts.org. Thanks again for listening.